So a lot of people are talking about the F-22, right? Because of the leak that we had during last year. And obviously with the Eurofighter and the Rafale coming into the game next last patch, right? We shall see the F-22 in a soonish kind of future. Probably, right? I mean, how OP would it be if we were to see this aircraft right now? How strong would it be, right? Is it too strong for the game? Let's take a little bit of a look on the performance and the main features of the F-22 to see if we can actually have this thing flying in the game as soon as maybe this year. So, the F-22, as you know, the first 5th generation jet to ever enter in service, made by the US, only used by the US. So we have one problem here, right? The only nation that can receive this aircraft is the F-22, which is fine because other nations can receive other jets that are similar-ish, you know, Su-57, J-20, arguably similar to the F-22, right? But everybody else will not have anything basically to be added unless they add the F-35, right? But that's not the point of the video. So if the F-22 gets added, it's only getting added to the US. So kind of a problem to balance it out, but at the same time, who knows what they will add for the other nations, right? If we talk about performance, we have to divide a little bit to talk about the actual fuselage and wings and aerodynamics of the aircraft and the engines. So the engines are the Pratt & Whitney F119s, right? These engines are really strong. They produce 160 kilonewtons with afterburner each engine. So it produces a whopping 320 kilonewtons of power. I honestly don't know if this is static or not. I would assume that it's not, but at the same time, if it is, Jesus Christ. At the same time, together with that, it is not a light aircraft, right? It weighs around 20 tons, which is heavier, empty, I mean, right? Heavier than the Su-27, so it is a very heavy aircraft. So these engines need to be this strong to be able to compete with other aircraft because of the weight of this thing. This thing is really heavy. I mean, according to non-classified numbers, right? Together with that, we have an amazing, all built to be stealth fuselage and wings and stuff, right? Which means that we might lose a little bit of performance here and there because of that, but honestly, in real life, yeah, it's amazing, right? It will turn like almost nothing else. Together with a thrust vectoring on these Pratt & Whitney engines, it makes it up to be probably one of the best, if not the best turning aircraft in the game, if added right now. What would the problem be? Well, like I said, it's pretty heavy. So although it does have a lot of power, it will probably regain this power, this speed that it loses on the turn very fast. It will probably lose a lot of that speed on the turn, making it be kind of an interesting aircraft. You know, if you don't use it correctly, you can turn like nothing else. But at the same time, you lose so much energy that you can die because of it in a normal battle, because there are so many targets flying around. And remember, this aircraft initially doesn't have a helmet-mounted IR signature display to fire missiles, if I'm not mistaken. At least not initially, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, they probably can add something like that later, but initially cannot. So we would need to point the nose to the target, at least if they add like the first model out of it. So it would be kind of an aircraft that can beat basically everything in a dogfight if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you can get beaten by the Eurofighter in the Rafale, but honestly, I don't think nothing else can beat you in a dogfight. So that's one thing, right? So thrust vectoring, the way that the aircraft is like to fly, the engines, everything, it will be, although a very heavy aircraft, one of the best out there in turning capability in a dogfight. But let's talk about the other systems. What about BVR, the stealth of the aircraft, and of course the missiles that it can carry and everything for BVR. So guys, this thing actually has the ability to carry, obviously internally, 4 AIM-120 A's and B's and 2 AIM-9M's. Yes, so we could have this thing with 6 missiles. But yeah, being added right now with the missiles that we have, it would carry 2 AIM-9s, the AIM-9s that we already have, and 4 AIM-120s that we already have in the game. So in the missile department, it's okay. It doesn't even have that many missiles, right? On the radar side of things, to guide these missiles, well, he could actually carry the APG-77, which probably will be the best radar in the game. So, yeah, it would be incredible. He has an IRST, apparently. He has a missile launch detector, so basically a MAL system. Many other types of defense and offensive, you know, stuff. Flares, of course, and other things. But this radar really, you know, I mean, unclassified numbers. It should detect a target from more than 200 kilometers, a target that it's 1 meter squared. If you don't remember, the F-16C, if I'm not mistaken, has 3 meters squared of RCS. So, yeah, he can, and it's one of the smallest ones that we have in the game in RCS, right? So, yeah, the radar is amazing. Of course, being AESA, it's already using one of the best technology ever over here, right? At the same time, we have the stealth. So in the defense capability, we will have the stealth, which arguably it should be better than even the F-117, or at least on par with it, right? And what would that mean in a real combat? Well, guys, this is the problem that I have with the F-22 right now, to be added right now. It's not that it will be like amazing in a dogfight, and it can even super cruise to 1.76 Mach, so it's really efficient, no drag at all, and it will be amazing in the performance side of things. It's not only that, actually, but the main thing would be the stealth. Why is that? Well, guys, think about the F-117. It can be detected around 40-50 kilometers max on a Russian radar. So let's assume that the F-117 is the same stealth that the F-22 has. It's not, but let's assume it would be in the game. It would mean that you would need to get with an Su-27 as close as 40 kilometers maybe to be able to detect the F-22, or even less, depending, probably less. I'm comparing to the F-117, but it probably will be less, okay? Which means that by the time you are at 40 and starting maybe to get a detection, the F-22 can already fire the AIM-120s from the optimal condition distances and speeds and everything at you, and can crank already. With the AESA, it can crank really well, and by the time you are, what, at 30-35 kilometers from the target cranking, the F-22, right? It means that the missile already went active, and you can turn away and maybe be almost completely invisible, flying away, and you cannot be killed in the BVR department compared to the 4th generations. So this is what scares me. It will be an aircraft that will beat almost everything, if not everything, if you know what you're doing in a dogfight. It will out-accelerate most aircraft, even being like way heavier than the Su-27. And at the same time, it is almost unbeatable in the BVR because of the stealth and the radar and the missiles, because the AIM-120s are the best missiles in the game right now for BVR, even if we have only 6 missiles and only using the AIM-120As and AIM-9Ms. So that's how OP this thing would be. It would be a step up, and it would need to be a 14.3, 14.7, something like that. And nobody really has a counter to it, unless they add the F-35, the Su-57, and other aircraft, and even then the F-22 will be amazing. So, at the end of the day, guys, we are not ready for it. Really, really not ready for it. But it is not that far from it. If you take a look on the numbers and everything, you see that, yes, it is indeed a step up. But we're almost there. Almost. At least, let's hope we are almost there, right? If you love the Raptor. So, let me know in the comments if you think that we are ready for the F-22 right now, or if we need another year to start to think about that. For sure, Gaijin is already internally testing what this aircraft could do in the game. I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like. Always helps a lot. And I see you guys. Bye.